are some of the common lines, but there could be many different variations. So let me just summarize what you need to do as white. Basically, it's important to develop your pieces rapidly, especially these three minor pieces. Eventually, you should push d4 and exploit the center. You should be able to regain your pawn like this, so equalizing shouldn't be a problem. This e-file could be used by a queen to attack the king with checks and discover attacks, so keep an eye on that. Ultimately, you will need to open up black's king side as soon as you can and, if possible, prevent him from passing. This f7 square is always going to be a good attacking point, so always look out for opportunities to expose black's king. In order to do this, you might have to sacrifice some material at times, so don't be afraid to do that. As I mentioned, in the King's Gambit, it's not only about the material, you also need to give emphasis on the positioning of your pieces. Alright, now let's look at how black can counter this opening. But before that, I request you to show your support and like this video, so hit that thumbs up button right now. Okay, so a very good way to deal with this opening is the Fisher's defense, which starts with the move d6. This is probably the best defense for black. What it does is that not only opens up this diagonal for the bishop, but also solidifies the center and prevents white from playing e5. After this, you will see two main moves, d4 and bishop c4. Let's look at d4 first. After d4, we can go for g5, defending this pawn. Then comes h4 as usual, attacking the defender. Again, g4, attacking the knight. This time, white cannot play knight e5 because of this pawn. Also, he cannot move to g5 because f6 or h6 simply traps the knight. Therefore, the best move is to actually go back to g1. Then queen f6 is the best move that I recommend for black. Defends this f4 pawn and also attacks the center. Then knight c3, planning to play knight d5. We play knight e7, preventing it. Knight g to e2, putting pressure on f4. Bishop h6, defending it. Queen d2, adding another attacker. Bishop d7, then comes g3, forcing this pawn to move. Pushing forward isn't a good idea because then knight f4 gives the knight a very good square and it becomes difficult for us to break through. Therefore, in this position, we simply play knight c6, attacking d4, so this knight cannot move now. G takes on f4, and finally, we castle on the queen side. If you look at this position, the material is equal, but our king looks very safe, whereas white's king is still in the center. We have all these attacking options on the king side, so this should be a good game for you. Going back, now let's look at what happens if after d6, white plays bishop c4 in this position. We start with h6, preparing for g5. Then comes d4, attacking the f pawn. g5, defends it. White can castle king side. Then bishop g7, putting pressure on the center. c3, knight c6. Then g3, trying to open the f file for the rook and bishop. From here, we have this interesting move, bishop to h3. If we move the rook, then we can tear apart his king side by clearing the pawns and getting our queen into the game, so that isn't looking good for white. In fact, in this position, it's actually best for white to go for the exchange sacrifice. And after all this, if you see the position, black is up in material, our king looks much safe, and there are a lot of attacking options up your sleeve. Database shows that from this position, more than 45% of the games are won by black, and only 30% of the games are won by white. Just to summarize and give you an overall perspective, as black, you need to keep in mind a few things. You need to smartly hold on to this f4 pawn. You should avoid making any unnecessary pawn moves and try to keep your pawn structure in good shape for as long as possible. Your plan should be to develop all your pieces on the king side and maintain pressure on the center with your knights and bishops. As soon as you get an opportunity, just castle on the queen side so that your king is safe, and then you can go after this white king with your entire army. Okay, so here's a chess puzzle for you all. It is white's turn and you need to find the best move continuation for white. Do share your answers in the comment section below. If you like this video, you should watch this video as well, which is all about the Danish gambit. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking here. Thanks for